outside and watching nature. I used to just wake up and go straight into a workout, and I used to hate that. It almost feels unnatural to get into something so physical after being asleep right away. And then it kind of just dawned on me one day that maybe I should like sit out here and just be and just exist. And it's definitely one of my favorite things to do now, right after waking up, and just sit out here and kind of let myself naturally wake up under the sunlight and watch the trees sway in the wind. Sometimes I see squirrels running across the trees. The other day, I saw 2 squirrels chasing each other, kind of like they were playing tag, and they were just like running up and down the branches of the tree in front of me. And I just thought of all the days that I didn't sit out here and watch squirrels chase each other. It was one of the coolest things ever. I'm hoping to catch one of them today. And the birds never fail to chirp every morning, and it's always nice and cool. It's just great. I've been kind of realizing my connection with nature more and more, where I feel like whenever things get a little stressful or I get shaken up, I always love being around plants and trees and grass and anything remotely close to nature. I've been envying a lot of YouTube videos where people are hiking or camping or going through the woods, just because it just feels like it's somewhere I should be in right now. I really wish I could, but I guess I just didn't realize how connected I was to it. It feels like the one thing that makes me feel good and makes me feel okay. It's very grounding, somewhat spiritual even. Just being around it makes me feel so connected to God and like the universe. About what this week would be about, because we usually have a theme for each vlog, and the one thing that's very prevalent in my life right now is healing. It's something that I don't think I've really talked about, at the very least in depth, in this channel, because it is something very personal. Not a lot can be said without giving away too much about myself, and I don't want to get into that so much, but I'm going to try and tackle it on this episode the best way I can. The past few weeks I've been feeling very emotionally unbalanced, and it's a really weird feeling. The best way I guess I could put it, my intuition has been kicking in a lot, and I feel like it's been trying to tell me that something is wrong, is not the standard of how I would usually feel. I've been feeling it a lot more and more the past few days, where I feel emotionally heavy and confused even. And when I lean into my intuition and feeling my actual emotions, I start to kind of pick out the details of different people's mannerisms and kind of turn it around and try and analyze it and compare it to memories of those same mannerisms in the past and try to pick out the difference. And ultimately it turns into a kind of cycle of me going off of instinct as opposed to solid proof, because my emotions and my intuition is telling me that something is wrong with my connection with people or my relationship with people. And it's kind of caused me to worry a lot and to have a lot of anxiety built around how people have been interacting with me or coexisting with me. I've been trying to figure out why that is. You know, why am I so heavy on emotions right now? Last night I was talking to a friend of mine and she kind of triggered a thought for me where I had a lot of personal like struggles and traumas in the past that I am over. I've gotten through it. I've had proper discourse and conversation over it so as to close that chapter and gain a sense of closure for myself so that I can move on from whatever had hurt me from the past and whoever has hurt me in the past. It felt like I truly had moved on from it, but I realized that the reason I might be feeling this emotionally heavy right now is because old wounds have started to resurface. They've started to open up again, and when I thought that they were healed and sealed for good, they actually weren't. And in fact, they're actually a little sore. And me being so focused on the tiny mannerisms and interactions that I have with people and nitpicking every tiny detail, every tiny thing that has changed in the way they've interacted with me, it's aggravated that old trauma that's been buried with me, those old wounds that I thought had been healed. It's aggravated it, and it's caused me to subconsciously, without me even realizing it, look back on those wounds and be like, oh my god, the shit that's happened before that's caused me a lot of like worry and pain and hurt is happening again. I'm starting to open those wounds and try to and experience all of that all over again. Experience a thing that's given me a lot of like hurt in the past all over again. And I didn't even freaking realize it. I guess the ultimate message here is that wounds take a lot longer to heal. Just because you experience the same wounds all over again doesn't mean that the situation is just as bad as it used to be. It could honestly just be your body and mind getting into its fighting stance to try and protect you from the pain that it has become so familiar with from your past. So yeah, maybe things are a little off right now. That doesn't mean that I'm going through the exact same pain and the exact same traumas that I've experienced in the past. It's bringing back old memories that have been scaring me and making me really worried and anxious, but it's always going to be a constant fight to remind yourself that things are far better than they used to be, because you've taken strides to make things better. More specifically, because I know I have taken strides to make things better, and not everything is going to be smooth sailing and rainbows and butterflies all the time. And when things don't go right, it is going to aggravate those old wounds. It is going to bring me back to old scenarios and make me maybe experience my pain again and my trauma again because it's stuck with me from the past for so long. But it's not as bad as I thought it is, and a lot of it really just is in my head. It's a lot of me trying to read the room and figure out how to fix things, because that was how I tackled my situations before. I've come to realize today that there's nothing really there to fix except to allow myself to give time to breathe and not stress about it for a while. Maybe even to isolate myself from things that are triggering me right now, because I am in a very vulnerable place today, the past few weeks, where the smallest things really do trigger me. So when your emotions get like this, you know, when you get to a place where I am right now, where old wounds are being scratched open again, and it feels like it's harder for you to get a handle over your own emotions and thoughts, maybe trying to isolate yourself from the situation is the best way to go, because you need time away from that. You know, you need time to breathe and to recuperate and to not be around it, so that you can start healing all over again. That is where I have been emotionally, and I don't know if I was able to explain that the way I want to explain it, because it's really hard to talk about this, especially in a way that doesn't give you too much information of the things that I have experienced. But I do hope that you got something out of that. I literally feel like I have a very, very wide and deep ocean, and that ocean feels like it's mostly worry and sadness and the feeling of being distraught over not understanding completely what I'm really feeling or why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. I acknowledge that it is there, that ocean of heavy feelings is there. I recognize it, and I feel like one of the best ways I always ground myself is through meditation. And that always helps me accept whatever's going on with me and helps me figure out what I need to do next as a person to be able to like step forward from what I'm feeling. We are gonna get on the floor and we are gonna meditate. Getting ahead of work today. I am in particular. I started work a lot earlier than I usually do. I work part-time, so usually I get started on my job and the things I need to get done in the afternoon at around 1 p.m. because it is perfect for me as a person who loves having the mornings all to herself. I'm really grateful that I found this kind of an opportunity for me. The number one thing that I've been practicing this week with healing is redirecting any thoughts and worries and anxieties I might be having as a whole in general into the single thought of focus on yourself. And I don't know why it works for me, but it does. It does something for me where it kind of reminds me that I don't have to solve everything. I don't have to understand everything that's going on. And I can just focus on myself and what I can do with myself and what I can, I guess you could say, control with myself. And that brings me a sense of comfort because it narrows the amount of work that I feel like I need to get done with healing. Instead of making it this very vague and very wide range of things that I need to heal from, I pinpoint it to just one thing and one person that I can work with, that I can focus on, and that would be myself. Then I start building routines and taking things slowly at a pace that I myself can feel comfortable with, and all of the routines that I've built, like eating breakfast in the morning and waking up earlier and all that jazz, are all done with the mindset of focusing only on myself and doing things slowly so that I'm not rushing through the healing process and I'm actually allowing myself enough time to go through the motions and to go through the silence and the introspection at a pace that I can handle and at a pace that will help me understand myself a little more without rushing into trying to fix things right away. Long time no see! We're being work buddies. I did not wake up early today. Big oof. What's funny is that I slept earlier than my personal bedtime last night, which is usually at 10:30 to 11, but I slept between 10 p.m. and 10:30 because I was so tired. I don't know if you guys think that waking up at 8:30 in the morning is early or not. I used to think it was really early, but now that I'm trying to build the habit of waking up at 6:30 in the morning and hopefully eventually 6, when I wake up at 8:30, it's 2.5 hours later than the time I'm trying to actually wake up. So in my head, it's a lot later than what I want. Building new habits is actually a part of the healing process for me in particular. When I go through a really crappy time in my life, I usually have the mindset of not wanting to be there when it happens. You know, I don't want to go through this. I don't want to have to deal with this or learn from this and just experience this in general. And I think the reason why building new habits helps heal me in a way is because when I build new and better habits, I am renewing myself. I am molding myself into someone who better deals with crappy situations when they happen to me, or has a better coping mechanism when having to deal with crappy situations. Right now, I'm trying to break a lot of habits. You've heard of the one of me waking up really, really late. I'm trying to break that and build it into waking up at 6 a.m. in the morning instead. My camera died, so we are continuing this on my phone. Other habits I'm trying to break is not exercising regularly, not meditating regularly, and even not really doing a lot of yoga. A lot of those did become very stagnant for me, and I kind of just started living my day-to-day life without a schedule and without doing anything fulfilling or productive or mentally grounding for myself. And notice that whenever I would not really do anything good for myself, I would feel even crappier. I would feel like a hot potato sitting on a couch that wasn't really valuable. And I didn't like that. It made me feel so low vibrational. And I noticed that when I started trying to at least break those habits, when I would actually be successful and wake up at 6:30 in the morning, or actually eat a good amount of vegetables, or work out on a regular schedule, I would feel really, really, really good about myself. So then when days come where I have to experience crappy things happening to me that I have to deal with, at least I would have that stable foundation of good habits that I know make me feel good regardless of what situation I found myself in. And I wouldn't have to fall back into those low vibrational qualities of life anymore because I've changed them into higher vibrational qualities instead. So I hope that makes any sense. This is how I function as a person, how I realized I function, and this is the reason why I like change sometimes when I'm going through a crappy time. You guys know I cut my hair really short at one point. It's because it makes me feel like a new person, and it brings happiness into my life that I know I can rely on regardless of the crappy situation I found myself in. So that's exactly what building new habits does for me now. It's less of a physical thing that I'm changing and more of abstract items that I'm changing
that lasts me for the long run this time. Because hair eventually grows out, but building new habits will last you forever. So I think it's a really great and healthy and sustainable way to cope.
I think I've only really understood now that a big part of my healing is propelled forward by allowing my thoughts to roam freely and listen to what the universe is wanting to communicate with me. I know this might sound weird, but whenever I allow myself to meditate this way, I find that the thoughts that come in aren't negative at all, but thoughts that tell me I'm okay and I'm doing my best. My world will fall into place, and no matter what, I am guided. Sometimes I feel that I don't even look for these thoughts, they just pop up. And I'd like to think that that's the universe and maybe even God talking to me. The other is allowing my body to move the way it feels it needs to. Whether it's raising my hands to the sky as if I'm opening myself up to God or bowing down to the ground to connect with the earth, I let myself move. And it feels good. It feels like a sort of release from boundaries, from restrictions, a catharsis from whatever negativity I've been holding in, and a promise to start over. I'm about to start working, but I just spent the last 2.5 hours screaming at my book. This shit is a drug, okay? The entire series is... If I have any OG subscribers here, you guys would know that my favorite book series of all time, at least back then, is by an author named Sarah J. Maas. She writes beautifully. She is so good at her job as an author. This is also by her. And it's a very, very enticing book. It's really engaging. It's world building, so it's fairies and magic and mortals and all of that jazz. Has hot fairy men and hot fairy women. And Sarah J. Maas writes war and battle really, really well. If you're someone who feels like you can't take that kind of like scenario in a book because it's fighting and gore and blood, it's so engaging the way she writes it. Personally, for me, the chapters that have fighting in it, the chapters that have war and battle, are the most page-turning chapters. She's so good at building suspense and building anxiety surrounding the suspense, and good at writing the climax of war and the release of war. It's so freaking like, it's so... I was yelling at my book at all the twists and turns. There's so many. Go pick up A Court of Thorns and Roses. There are 5 books in it. Read everything. This is the 3rd book, so I've got 2 more to go. Read everything. It is amazing, and it's now my favorite book series of all time. I'm starting work really late today because I wanted to finish my book. So I'm starting it now. I'm struggling to get a move on. I usually work out after I journal when I wake up. I'm sleepy and I don't have the energy. I mean, I never have the energy to actually work out, but I usually have at least a little bit of energy to push myself to do it. And today I keep looking at my workouts and I'm like, do I, maybe I should skip the day, but then it's also kind of not smart to do because I've been skipping. Like, I don't work out consistently, you know, and this week if I work out right now, today,
I would have been consistent this week. And it's the last set ever in my program. It's like the last one, you know, but also I don't want to. I'm also thinking of taking a nap later. I'm just extra sleepy today. Okay, so clearly I am up and about. I actually took a nap a while ago at 10:30 after I had done everything for my morning. I had my breakfast, I did my workout, I showered, and I got ready. I took a nap. I haven't been sleeping well the past 2 nights. Like, I really have been having a hard time sleeping soundly and deeply. And I feel like today, it kind of just caught up with me. Because I woke up before 7, but I was still so tired. And I just couldn't. I felt like today was one of those days where, like, no way in hell am I gonna stay awake this entire morning. I feel like I'm probably gonna die if I do. So after I did everything I needed to do for my morning, I kind of just, like, got back in bed. And I was like, I'm just gonna take a little bit of a nap. It's just gonna be a little while. Cut 2. It's 2 p.m. and I am just waking up. I have no work today, though, which I'm on call with David right now. He's on my phone right now, and, like, I was telling him, David, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with my time. I did not plan for this. I did not plan to not have any work to do, because I've been pretty, like, busy the past week with stuff that I needed to get done, right? And suddenly I have this one day where I literally have nothing. And the nature of my work isn't even, like, really formal. I'm freelance, right? So it's not like I have to clock in and clock out. Like, if I have no work to do, I just have no work to do. And I'm grateful that I have today, you know? Like, I don't have to stress out today. I don't have to worry today. It's great. Now that I've got nothing, what the fuck do I do with my time? And David, hearing me say all of this, said one thing that hit me. And he was like, Max, take the day off. You gotta learn to relax. You don't know how to do that. This entire time, you don't know how to do that. And he's right, because if you guys remember, on my first FUNemployed episode, my very first one, I literally said, I don't know how to relax anymore. And I have to learn how to do that again, because I'm just such a busybody. I'm just so always preoccupied. I always have a schedule. I always have things to do. That's just what my life is. And it's just, I don't know how to not do anything. So yeah, here we are. And now I'm trying to figure out what to do with my life. I think actually I might try painting today. That would be a lot of fun. That would be a heck of... You know what? Yes. Let's paint. I did a really good job of taking a step back and healing this week. Sometimes when I think about my lessons or, like, insights for the week, it's not
always me sitting down and like making myself think about things or writing about my feelings so that I'll go and like realize something or learn something through my own thoughts. A lot of the time it's just me doing something random and then a thought would pop out, or I would have a split second of a line of thinking that I probably never had thought before that brought me some kind of realization or insight. So this week, though the goal was to heal, I didn't really need to think hard about it. A good number of realizations and insights this week in this vlog. But also, one of the biggest things I think that I noticed when it came to healing this week was that I didn't even really need to try. It's not like I went through this entire week waking up every morning and saying, I am going to heal. The next thing I'm gonna do is meditate, and I am going to meditate for healing. You know, it wasn't like that. I didn't really put a lot of thought into my week. The only thing I really made a conscious effort to do was to keep to myself and not surround myself with anyone for a very long time. I realized that when I heal, when I reset again and recuperate with whatever I might be feeling emotionally and mentally, I need my space away from people. I need my time away from people. And most importantly, I need my silence, and I need to be untouched and unbothered. And I think that's because I just need the focus, you know? I just need the peacefulness to get through my own crap first before I allow myself to kind of re-enter the world again. And that was what I did for most of the week. I kind of just did things that I like to do on my own and did things that made me happy and made me fulfilled, but I did it away from people. I feel good. I feel fine. I feel like I've kind of conquered some of the mental battle of the things that I felt like I needed to heal from. And I feel a lot more emotionally stable, definitely, from where I was at the start of this week in this vlog. I just wanted to share that that's something I realized about myself this week, that the most important thing I need when it comes to feeling okay with myself again mentally and emotionally is isolation and silence. I just need to be on my own, to grow on my own, and to heal on my own, and I'll be okay. I don't need external help necessarily. I just need to be able to sort through my own stuff because I trust myself to be able to do so. You guys might be different, but it's just a shock that this is how I am. I have grown so independent in my own self and so trustworthy of my own self that I can even heal on my own now, which is great. I used to not be able to do that. Therapy is still a thing for me, you know, but I find that I need it a lot less than when I had started. So yeah, I'm gonna end the vlog here, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that this episode of the FUNemployed series brought you some kind of peace and understanding. And if not, maybe just kept you company throughout your day as you watched this video, or even just kept it playing in the background. I hope you enjoyed it regardless of what it is. So I love you guys, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.